I'm Matt at Nexus Baseball, and this is episode 34 of the Tommy John Epidemic. This series is a YouTube read of content from the book Plague of the Gods, an outsider's perspective on baseball's Tommy John epidemic, which is available now on Amazon. I decided to put this content on YouTube to make the material as accessible as possible. This series examines the science behind the most superhuman action the human body can produce, accelerating a baseball up to 100 miles per hour. The fourth and final potential cause of increased valgus stress is misuse of the muscles in the upper and lower arm responsible for stabilizing the arm against valgus stress. This can be a related cause to misuse of the lat muscle, but also can be seen independently. As discussed in the throwing motion, the muscles of the arm are required to stabilize the arm against any imbalance through the motion. Although pitching grips are scrutinized and played with to perform the perfect pitch, little is standardized or consensus. Most pitchers do what feels comfortable and controllable, not what provides the greatest degree of support to the ligaments. Some grip the ball lightly like an egg, while others hold the ball firmly and yank downwards to get downward movement. Depending on the pitcher, the thumb can be on the side of the ball, under the ball, or tucked. Light grip or strong grip, it is the wrong grip and flex through the upper arm that leaves the UCL the most unprotected, as these muscles are almost entirely responsible for stabilizing the arm and protecting the ligaments. The science is expanding rapidly from Mike Marshall's original assertion that the pronator teres muscles that crosses the elbow was the key to protecting the UCL. With the work of Dr. Buffy and others, the key role this extremely complex group of small control muscles plays in protecting the UCL is becoming more and more clear. Naturally, many players want to curl the forearm inwards to some extent when trying to grip the baseball. This allows them to feel in control of the baseball, as the primary gripping muscles for any object in the hand are the flexors. The flexors are the group of muscles on the ulnar side of the forearm and can be found from the palm side wrist to the elbow. Ask anyone to pick up a barbell or a grocery bag, and they will immediately curl their hand around the handle, hooking the hand to provide a better grip. The flexor muscles can be extremely strong, prone to muscular hypertrophy, and can grow to be large and powerful muscles. They are what allows a powerlifter to grip and lift a barbell weighing hundreds of pounds, or pull our body weight in a pull-up. However, just like the muscles of the torso in the throwing motion, the big stability muscles are not the key. This is very counterintuitive, as the flexor mass, as the group of muscles is known, is extraordinarily strong at stabilizing the elbow, and several studies have shown this. The difference is that it provides that stability in a static contraction environment. When holding a barbell in a deadlift, for example, the muscles can flex maximally and bend the elbow in slightly from lockout and work in conjunction with the biceps and brachioradialis, the muscles that go under the bicep into the forearm, muscles to prevent ligament stretch. In contrast, in the pitching motion, the arm is not curling in, it is going into extension. From the cock position, the arm goes into layback in the same angle relative from forearm to upper arm. As the hips stop rotating and the force is conveyed through the serratus, the arm whips centrifugally around the torso into near full extension at high speed. In contrast to the flexor mass, it is the reverse side of the forearm, the extensors, that are primarily responsible for stability and arm extension. This makes sense when the pitch is viewed in slow motion, as the arm is extending along the line of stability provided by the triceps, the back of the upper arm, and the extensor muscles. The tricep muscles are designed to extend the arm and can activate to assist in extension. This is while the synergistic extensors flex to maintain forearm alignment, and the pronators responsible for the forearm twisting independently of the upper arm can flex to maintain stability as the arm rotates. This interaction can also be seen in martial arts such as boxing, where when throwing a punch, the arm must extend but maintain maximum stability under speed, and in this case a massive impact, with tremendous energy pushing back on the arm due to Newton's third law of equal and opposite force. In the punch, both the flexors and extensors flex to maintain stability along with the pronators, while the triceps extend the arm. Boxers will also frequently have very developed extensors, particularly the extensor carpi radialis longus, seen as a bump out near the outside portion of the elbow on the forearm when the arm is flexed and ready to throw a punch. The same muscle groups in the arm used to throw the punch are used in the baseball pitch, except that the flexors are used less. This is because as the baseball is brought into the laid back position, the hand is required to lay back as well, limiting their use as they must relax to allow the extensors to do their work. The unfortunate part of this is that pitchers are being trained to build the flexors to protect their UCLs and to use these powerful muscles to assist in throwing the baseball by flexing before release to throw harder and pull down on the baseball. The result of this is what I call hooking, or curling in the forearm flexors to bring the palm in towards the UCL. When thrown in this manner, the hand is ripped backwards by the force of the layback against the flexor muscle contraction. This snaps the ball forward in a stretch reflex from the additional tendon stretch response. However, as the flexors are stretched, the UCL is left unprotected. Additionally, the flexors are actively fighting the pronators on the downward pull. This position is particularly common among lat throwers, as they are already attempting to pull the baseball down with the lat being connected on the bottom of the humerus. The result is that, just like the lat throw, the extra stretch and muscle can result in extra velocity. This is at the cost of the muscles firing incorrectly or struggling between the opposite sides to stabilize the arm whipping around the body in a fraction of a second. This results in more instability and valgus stress independent of the rest of the parts of the motion. It is being created in the forearm itself. Also, just like lat throwers, hooking can help compensate for reduced range of motion, tightness, and poor small muscle control by cueing the external rotators to compensate for poor scapular movement. When the external rotators flex with the lat flex to hold the arm angle, the shoulder blade moves into retraction, allowing the thrower to get more overhead more easily despite their tight lats. All of this is frequently coached into a pitcher by getting them to throw as hard as possible with inadequate mobility and muscular coordination. This is made even worse by the instructions to get on top of the baseball for better control. This logically would be interpreted as hooking the hand to keep the fingers on top of the ball more instead of more layback and extensor use. Several pitchers are clearly aware of the importance of this interaction, whether coached or intuitively, as they are now pre-flexing their arms before going into cock. This is usually seen as a momentary pause and flex of the throwing arm, pulling back on the baseball to flex the triceps and extensors. Mike Fultonavich and Joe Kelly are notable examples of this. While it can have other ramifications to the shoulder by pre-cocking the arm in a fixed position, is at least attempting to use the right muscles for UCL support. One alternative to this is also incorrect by teaching show the ball to second before going into cock. This is a technique that is used particularly in youth players. By facing the hand away from the body in a stretch, the shoulders and trap muscles will naturally go into extension and allow for better mobility. This can compensate for poor muscular control or tightness. The problem with doing so is that with the ball facing away, as it is thrown into cock by the torso and legs, the ball will already be pronated, preventing the pronator teres from supporting the elbow, even if the extensors and triceps are both doing their job. The pronator teres will instead be stretched and forced to snap back, creating potential problems if the muscles can't snap back into position correctly every time. By removing this critical portion of the support chain of the arm, the ligaments can be left undersupported. Join me for episode 35 next week. Remember, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Your support makes this work possible. Also, if you want to jump ahead, please consider picking up the book on Amazon from the link in the description below. See you next week.